Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Go Land Bodybuilding. Mountain. And today I'm going to talk to you about what to do if you're stuck at a certain amount of reps with a certain weight. Now, a lot of you guys know, if you've been here for a while, you know that I talk about changing up the rep ranges in order to break through plateaus, which means you would change up the weight. But something that a lot of people do is that they will have certain weights that they always work with. So we always see people work with 135 on the bench, 185, 225, and they don't really vary up the weights. And I think they underestimate the subtle differences between changing weight in a minor way instead of just a major way. So as an example, a lot of people will bench press with 225, 275, 315, or 135, 185. Like they'll do these 50-pound jumps or less, but they'll usually have their standard weights that they always work with. But one thing I noticed is that if you use always standard weights, it's almost like your body seems to adapt to that. And one weight is almost too much and the other weight is almost too little. And in this circumstance, it can be good to change the weight to somewhere in between. So as an example, what I did the last couple workouts is that I didn't go from 225 to 275 like I usually do. I went to 245, and then another workout I did reps with 255. And the neat part about this is that you'll notice that you'll be able to gain strength, but it's not overkill. So to be perfectly clear, I think that sometimes when you use too much weight in a given scenario, you don't put on strength as well. Just like if you don't use enough weight, you won't put on strength as well or strength endurance. So finding that sweet spot is something that I would encourage you to do. And I'm not saying that the weight that you decide on is always the right weight, but what I'm saying is that there's a certain tension that is right for right now. And don't underestimate these small little adjustments to the tension. It's like making micro adjustments to the tension instead of massive adjustments. And I think that with small adjustments, your body can or may be able to adapt better in some circumstances. So if you have a habit of always using the same weight for your high rep day and the same weight for your low rep day and the same weight for your medium rep day, I would say make subtle deviations in there and see what happens. You might be surprised. You might all of a sudden put on some extra strength endurance or strength over time because of this different form of stimulation. It's almost like it gives the body a different input. You could almost call it the Goldilocks method, where, you know, this is too hot, that's too cold, this is just right. So it's like if something is just too heavy, your body might not adapt to it. Or if it's too light, it might not adapt to it. But if it's the right weight, it creates the perfect storm of stimulation and allows the body to recover properly from that or find the proper groove and so forth, you know, while maintaining control and of course avoiding injuries along the way. So I would encourage you to get creative with the different tensions that you use. A lot of times the 10-pound plates or the 5-pound plates collect dust in the corner of a gym, but use those once in a while and see if you notice a different feel in the muscle and a different pump. So when I was using the 255, I felt great. It felt like a really good pump and a really good overall feeling in the chest and shoulders. And I do feel great using 275 as well, but sometimes it's good to go forward with the weight and intensity and then come back a bit and then go forward again and then come back and kind of do this ebb and flow. It's almost like every 2 steps forward, you take 1 step back and then take another 2 steps forward and then another 1 step back. And through this changing around of these tensions, you'll end up putting on a lot more muscle and actually achieving your goals at a much faster rate. So it's not always a straight line. I think a big mistake people make is that they just put on as much weight on the bar as they can and then they just say, okay, more. And what they do is they end up burning themselves out, or they do too much and it burns the body out, or the body cannot adapt fast enough. And then they end up overtraining or injuring themselves or causing issues. But if they touch those heavy weights and then back off a little bit and then go forward again, even beyond what they did before, then there is a much larger chance of adaptation happening. It's like it eases the body into it. It's almost like dipping your toe into the cold water and then getting out and then dipping it in again. And then slowly but surely you get acclimated to cold water. It's similar when it comes down to lifting heavy weights. And so on another note, based on a conversation I was having with my brother today, I would also note that rep speed does matter when it comes to putting on any sort of strength. So when you're using lighter weights, it's not about using slow reps. Slow reps a lot of times are not used by powerlifters in order to put on strength. When you want to gain in strength, you power out of the bottom, assuming you're warmed up, of course, but you basically have a faster rep speed, so you're working that power. So you're working the fast twitch fibers even though you're using lighter weight, but you're not burning out the tissues the same as if you're using heavy weight all the time. So rep speed does matter. I always encourage you to use the rep speed that feels right to you, of course, and doesn't injure you. But if strength is more what you're after, or you want to put on a lot of muscle, you definitely want to hit those fast twitch fibers from time to time. And they are hit with fast speeds or faster tempos and heavier amounts of weight. That's really the way that you hit them. So, but yeah, just play around with the weights. You know, make those micro adjustments. It doesn't always have to be these big jumps. But making micro adjustments and changing up the pattern to something different than you usually use, different tension than you usually use, can create dramatic results and give you a great well-being throughout the entire body. Mountain. So yeah, I hope this helps you out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgalantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters, and take care for now.